Hi everyone, and welcome back to day 3 of Mail Clothing Week at Stamp with Anna. So just as a recap, this month I'll be making clothing cards. Last week was all women's sweaters and a blazer. And this week, although I had wanted to do men's sweaters, I ended up doing other things. Other parts of other clothing types, shirt and tie, a vest, a tuxedo, but today I am doing a sweater. This is the card that we're going to make. And let me show you what we've done so far though. On Monday, we made this great tuxedo. On Tuesday, we made this cute shirt and tie. This is my favorite so far. Yesterday, on Wednesday, we made this great vest. I just think it is so cute. And today we're going to make this birthday card. This card was inspired by this card. I made this one last year at Christmas time, and I did use Stampin' Up's cable knit embossing folder. But as I said in my ladies sweater series, I was trying to not use the embossing folder. I wanted to challenge myself because when you think sweater, you think warm and cozy, and that cable knit comes right to mind. But I wanted to see if I could do something without using that. I do love this, and I would recommend it to anyone. There's just so many things you can do with this. You can make a knit cap, you can make a blanket, you can make stockings and sweaters, and it's just amazing. But like I said, I'm going to do it without. So I made this one. So it's almost the same. This one was Christmas, and I used this Naughty or Nice. That was from a stamp set that was in last year's holiday catalog. And this For You, I believe, came from a stamp set called Circle of Spring. That's also been retired. But we're going to make this one. It's got a birthday card. So what we're going to do today is we need just a couple pieces of paper. We have a thick Whisper White, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We have a piece of Pacific Point, 4 1/4 by 5.5. We have a piece of Whisper White that is 2.5 by 3.5. Then I did cut out the pocket piece here. It's Pacific Point, and it is 3 by, I think this is 3 by 2 3/4. Then we need 2 little strips of green. This is garden green. They are 1/2 inch wide, and I made mine longer because I'm going to run them through the crimper, and I chose to have them long, and then I was just going to snip them down. And then we need little slivers of Whisper White. I don't even know, that looks like maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch. And I just trimmed that with my trimmer. And I noticed I didn't make 2 for that one, but I'll make that when we get there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our Pacific Point, and we're going to cut the notch out for where the sweater goes. So we're going to measure in at 1 3/4, and we're going to measure down at 2. And we're going to bring in our scoreboard. I'm going to line those 2 tick marks up. So here's one right there in the groove, and here's one in the other groove. And we're going to slice. And there is our cutout for our sweater. Now we're going to score this. We're going to need to make the background. And to do that, I have my Simply Scored scoreboard. My stylus is on my desk somewhere. My stylus has disappeared, so I'm going to just use my bone folder. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored. Now, again, like last time we scored, I think it was for the tuxedo. We want these score lines to be embossed, but when we use the scoreboard, they're going to be debossed and we need to turn it over. So what we need to do, this is the way the sweater will look on the card. We need to put the piece of paper this way with the notch on the bottom so that we will be able to turn it over and have it be embossed. So this one, so what we're going to do with the notch on the bottom is we're going to score at every 1/4 of an inch. And then we're going to turn it horizontally, and we're going to do the same thing. All right, and there's our sweater. So when we turn it over, we have the notched part up at the top, and we have everything embossed. And put that aside, and we're going to do the same thing with the smaller piece. I think it's 2 3/4 by 3. Let me double check that. Yes, 2 3/4 by 3. So we're going to do the same thing with that. Every 1/4 of an inch. And then we're going to turn it over and do the same thing. So that we're making check marks, or little squares, I should say. And that's all the scoring we need to do. So now the first thing we're going to do is take our green strip of paper, and we're going to run them through the crimper. This crimper is an old tool, but it's a great tool. I'm going to check and see if they're still readily available. Someone had told me that they were very hard to find. And just put that in there. Give the knob a little twirl. And when it comes out, you have this great little crimping. So I need to cut a couple strips of Whisper White. So let me just grab some Whisper White. That might do it. Okay. I have these two little tiny little strips. So what I'm going to do is, my groove is here. See my groove? I'm going to line this up to that next line there. It's I don't know, like 1/8 of an inch, I think. And then I'm going to just cut that. And again. So tiny. Okay, and there they are right there. I'm going to put those aside. So I'm going to bring in my silicone pad because I'm going to use this a lot today. And I'm going to apply my snail along here. And now I'm going to put my green. This is garden green. I don't know if I mentioned that. Put that there. Straighten that up. Now I'm going to bring in my little piece of white. I think my white's too short. Hold on, I have to cut another one. A longer piece. One second. Okay, this is much longer than I need, but I'd rather have it too long than too short. And I'm going to put some snail on it. Now, when you have something this tiny and you don't want to use a liquid glue, this silicone pad, if you put this on there like that, the glue does not stick to that. It's just magic. I love it, love it, love it. So now I'm going to take this and center that on that green piece. And whatever tape came through just comes right off. I'm going to turn it over, and with my snips, I'm going to trim my end. Can you see where we're going with this? Okay, collar done. Now we're going to work on the pocket. Now we're going to take our 3x3. I'm sorry, I think I told you it was 2 3/4 by 3, but it's actually 3x3. We're going to take that piece of Pacific Point, and we're going to fold down 2 sides of it. And those are going to make the little grooves, so that you're going to slip the, it'll hold the gift card in place. So with a corner rounder, we're going to get that in there and round the 2 bottom corners off. Now we're going to take another strip of the little green crimped paper, and then I'll bring the silicone mat back in, and with this little strip of white I'm going to attach some snail to it, and we're just going to put that right here. Clean off any glue that came through. Now I'm going to attach that to my pocket. I'm not attaching it to the 2 flaps that I folded over because I don't want any extra bulk. I'll trim this off. Now we need to attach it to our card. My scissors are getting dull, I believe. So now when we attach it, we need to put adhesive on the bottom of the back piece and then the 2 side flaps. So you're putting adhesive on the front and the back. Well, the top and the bottom, I should say. So I'm going to bring my card back in, and we're going to attach the pocket. So we're going to fold these flaps back, and when we put it down, we're going to try to line up these score lines. Hard to see. That looks about right. Okay, now last thing we're going to do is make our gift card. So we're going to bring in our 2.5 by 3.5 piece of paper, Whisper White, and we're going to corner round all 4 corners. Then with Garden Green, we're going to stamp Happy Birthday from the birthday banners set. And that's going to fit right inside our pocket because we made those nice little grooves on the side. There we go. And there's our card. This one here, the first one I made, was made to go up and down And this one opens sideways simply because I had a piece of Whisper White that was already scored this way. So that's why I decided to use this one. And again, it was inspired by this card here, using the cable knit sweater. And this is done in Dapper Denim and Emerald Envy. And this is Pacific Point in Garden Green. And I do like both of the color combinations. What I can tell you when you're making your card is double check your measurements, because when you're scoring, if you don't have, because we're scoring on that line, that last score mark on either side in order to make that groove to fit this in, if your card is not butted up right up against your scoreboard, those may not accommodate this insert. So you may either have to make this a little smaller, or you might want to start with your pocket a little wider. This was 3 inches. You could do like 3 1/4 inch. So that it's just the way your scoreboard is. And if you're using the cutting tool to score, then your lines might be a little off. So just double check it before you start putting it together, just to make sure that everything does fit. So anyway, that's the card. And if you come back tomorrow, we'll have the last day of the men's clothing. And if you have any questions at all about this card or any of the cards that have been in this series so far, or if I can help you with any of your crafting needs, certainly contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.